This is Thundercats 4-inch Mumm-ra, the ever-living, or Mumm-ra transformed, part of Wave 2 of the new Thundercats line, the 2011 Thundercats, first wave of 2012. I really like this guy. I'm not a huge fan of the 4-inch Thundercats line. I prefer the 6-inch, but I like this one. I really do. I was excited to see one, a 4-inch, in transformed version with the wings, with articulation. He's got better articulation than most of the Wave 2 figures. Anyway, on to him in a minute. First, let's look at his packaging. He's got the same style packaging as Wave 1. That basic card that with that blue coloring to it, and then the half moon bubble with a really cool picture of him. In the back, we got a picture of him there with a little few things about the figure. Here's the rest of Wave 2. King Claudus, Lion-O version 2, and Panthro version 2, Panthro with the metal arms. And I already reviewed Claudus, and I will be reviewing them next. And of course he is a Thunderlings figure, which means that he has a magnet in his back, and when you put him into a Thundercats vehicle, the magnet will interact with the vehicle, and then the vehicle will do things like turn on lights. I'm not sure if they have sounds or not. I don't have any. I just got the Tiger Flyer, which is a brand new Thundercats toy, and I will be reviewing that one also. Anyway, on to Mumm-ra. He comes with his own sword. It kind of looks like a Sword of Omens, but it's more of a, I don't know what these, I guess it's like an Arabian sword. I don't know what they're called. And he's got wings, of course, which are removable. They fit right into a hole on his back above the Tiger Lynx magnet. That'll fit right there. And I think he looks good with and without them, which is nice. That's not always the case. Alright, so he looks mean. He looks real mean. He looks a lot like the 6-inch version, just smaller. He doesn't have quite as much detail as the 6-inch version, but he's I think he's a far superior figure to the deluxe Mumm-ra that had the wings that had no articulation, or practically no articulation. Anyway, on to the mold. I'm not sure if it's the same mold as that deluxe one, but I don't know, if you can see it here, you probably know, because I'm not sure. I didn't have that one, but it looks the same from what I've seen in the stores. But it's really nice. It's got a lot of detail, especially in the helmet. And then his little bandages that flow out whenever he turns into Mumm-ra the Ever-Living, and all this wind is blowing. It's like he's in a wind tunnel. So that's real nice detail right there. I like that part of the mold a lot. And then he's got a nice hard he's a hard body. And then these are removable. But they're not very secure on them. They're not very tight on there. He's got nice, I guess it's not really a gauntlet, but he's got nice forearm armor. Same on its other hand. And this piece of him, this is all removable. It's just little holes, little peg holes, and you can take it all off. I think he looks kind of silly without it, with it off though. So I tend to keep it on. I just opened these like literally an hour ago, so I'm still kind of discovering everything. And then his legs are good, and he's got this articulation in the shin, which the other figures don't have. Now, one downside to these figures is they always have these ugly screws in there. His aren't quite as noticeable. He just has this one, but that's still an ugly thing that I wish they would find a better way to hide that. Here's the wings. The mold on his wings are really cool. They're like these bat wings or gargoyle wings, but they're really nice. Another thing I'm not too happy about the mold is his hands. I mean, this hand would be fine if it was just the one, but he does come with this weapon. And as you can see, his grip, it's not really a gripping hand. It has this little hollowed out piece has this little hole right here in the very corner between his thumb and his index finger. And if you shove this sword in there, he'll hold it. Otherwise, he can't hold it at all. But even though he's holding it fine, it just looks silly in his hand. Doesn't that look silly? So when he holds it, it just looks kind of, it just looks stupid. So I tend to have him without that. Let me give you a closer look at that sword. The detail on the hilt is really nice. Alright, the paint on him is good. He's the only one I saw in the store that had quality control issues, and that was with the face, specifically the eyes. This was the best one I could find, and they're still not even that great. They're just kind of, they're not centered right on the eyes. Some of it's on the cheek or the eye socket, I guess. But so when you're looking for these, look for that. But other than that, I mean, it's great. It's flawless. Like I said on Claudus, Thundercats paint's usually pretty simple, but it's usually done well. It's really nice. And then the paint on I love the colors on his armor. This gold, red, and blue, and then the white bandages on it. It's really nice. And the detail of this bandage is really phenomenal. His wrist bandages are nice too. And the gold on his helmet is like this nice, almost copper-like gold. And then of course his little snake symbol that's on there perfectly. There's no flaws in it at all. As far as articulation goes, he's got better articulation than the other. He's got the best articulation out of Wave 2 figures. He's got a ball-jointed head, but it's maybe it's just a swivel. Anyway, if it's ball joint or a swivel, all it does is swivel. He's got ball hinge shoulders, so 360 in and out. He's got a swivel at the bicep, which is nice. Simple hinge elbow, and he's got a swivel at the forearm, which none of the other ones have that. I think Lion-O might. Yeah, Lion-O does. Well, I'm sorry, no. He has a swivel at the forearm. The other ones have swivel at the hands, except for Panthro. He's the only one who doesn't have a swivel at the articulation at the wrist. Anyway, it's got ball hinge hips, so they go in and out. Rocket kick forward. He's got a double hinge knee, which is nice, and he's got no articulation in the foot, but he's got a shin swivel. I think Panthro might have a shin swivel, but Lion-O and Claudus don't. As far as how tall he is, he's one of the taller 4-inch figures. Here he is by his 6-inch counterpart. You can tell the 6-inch one just towers over him. Anyway, you can imagine where his head is. I don't want to adjust the tripod. Here he is next to Claudus, whom I just reviewed. They're about the same height. Since you probably don't have him yet, here he is next to Lion-O. This is Wave 2 Lion-O, but I believe it's the same mold as Wave 1, so they're the same height. Here he is next to Snake Eyes. It's a little bit taller than Snake Eyes, and Snake Eyes is even on a stand. So he's a tall figure for as far as 4-inch Thundercats go. Alright, priority level. Should you get this guy? He's going to be the second hardest one to find, Claudus being the first. He's only coming 2 to a case. Claudus is only coming 1. So if you find this guy and you're a big Mumm-ra fan, I definitely recommend it. I mean, it's way better than the other transformed Mumm-ra with the wings and no articulation, or a very little limited articulation. So I like this guy. He would be a close second to Claudus, just because I really like Claudus. But I think he is a superior figure when it comes to articulation and that kind of thing. So really, I mean, it's up to you. But I would put Lion-O, and I would probably put Lion-O last on your list, followed by Panthro. Panthro's got a little bit of new stuff to him, but other than that, it's not that appealing. So yeah, him and Claudus are the ones you want. Upcoming reviews, I got Lion-O version 2, like I said, Panthro version 2, like I said, and I got the Tiger Flyer with Tygus. Anyway, hope you found this helpful. Until next time, keep collecting.